Welcome, entrepreneurs. I'm Ann Kay on my lifelong quest, Escaping Ordinary. Join me as I interview wildly successful and rising entrepreneurs that value travel as an essential influence in their outlook and mindset, and how it helps them live happy, fulfilling lives, build successful businesses, and craft their own extraordinary lives. I'm Ann Kay, and this is Escaping Ordinary. I'm so excited about today's guest. But first, if you missed the last episode, I hope you'll check out my interview with Nick Fitzgerald, where we went way beyond once upon a time and discussed his amazing entrepreneurial journey to Friendly Giant Films and how he is helping so many with his storytelling for business framework. All right, today I'm excited to welcome back my friend Ron Cool to Escaping Ordinary. Ron is the host of Hindsight Hacking podcast with Ron Cool and Corey Carter, and he's the co-founder of Live Different, a done-for-you and done-with-you marketing agency. Live Different empowers leaders to transform by providing personalized coaching experience that integrates the whole person. Ron coaches six-figure leaders on how to plan and grow themselves and their businesses. Welcome back, Ron, to Escaping Ordinary. Now, the last time you were here, you talked a little bit about where your hindsight hacking concept came from. Would you refresh our minds and bring us up to where you are now with your podcast and Live Different? And also, do tell us a little bit about you first.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's see. Where should we start? Let's go back to when I was 5. No, I'm kidding.
I was born.
I was, I was always that entrepreneurial kid or somebody that I was always told by teachers, you're always living in the future. And I've always really shot for high things, and I always wanted to have something. So, I got married when I was very young. I was 17. I'll give you one guess why we did. You're probably right. I was like, gosh, I don't want to work for people. Like, working for people stresses me out. And I have my own vision of how I want to do things. So I bought a restaurant thinking that was what I wanted to do. But I bought myself a job, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, so now what I'm going to do is like what normal people do is I'm going to buy another restaurant because that must help it. And anyone that's listening that does not help it, please don't do that. It's a really bad idea. You've
It
just
doesn't
doubled
double the carb, it quadruples it.
Yeah, it's awful, right?
Yeah.
And so I worked really hard to increase the sales so I could sell them and get out. I was like, oh my gosh, I just went out. Became a director of operations for a restaurant chain. And this guy kept bugging me to get in his network marketing thing. And I was like, dude, I hate those things. Like, they don't work. It's a scam, blah, blah, blah. So he bugged me for probably a year. One day I was just having a bad day at work, and he came in. I said, fine, look, I will do it. I never want to talk to you again if I sign up. And he goes, no, that's not how this works. And I go, right, I understand. I have an idea. I'm going to do it this way. Just don't come talk to me, right? So I signed up, and he left me alone, right? And I didn't do anything for 30 days because I didn't know what I was doing, right? But I was like, all right, if I can just, at this time I was 20 something, 23, I believe. And I said, gosh, I'm going to go get an 18-year-old kid because I can replace his income really quickly because I don't make any money. Then I'm going to go get a single mom because everybody wants to help single moms. Then I'm going to go get a realtor to sell something that I don't know how to sell. And then I'm going to go get a marketer to market the stuff that the realtor could sell to help these other two people. And I'll just develop everybody along the way. And I brought them in, and we had this meeting, and I said, here's my idea. We're all going to work together. It's never going to be about the money. The second we do it about the money, we're going to fail. We're going to do it to help people and build an incredible group, and we're just going to have fun. And they were like, okay, let's do it. I was like, oh, wow, that was cool. So we started doing it, and then my group got a little bit too big. So, I went to these libraries. I said, hey, I'm doing these trainings. Can I just borrow a room? And they said, sure, until it was like 350 people. And then they said, you can't come here anymore because it's too big and it was too loud. And at that time, the networking companies like, hey, you're doing really well. You've pumped up to this high level,
Yeah.
will you come do our, business presentations on Tuesday? And I said, no, I've been to those. One, you charge people to go. That's dumb. And two, you all dress like you're in church, and that's just not me, right? And you're going to put me on stage? I'm not going to do that. And they're like, just come, do whatever you want to do. Just be on the stage. I said, fine. So I came, and I remember the first time I came, half the room didn't know me, but I came in with like 500 people, right? All these people came in, and they were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then I got announced to go on stage to do the business presentation. And I'm in hat, sandals, and shorts, and everyone else is in suit and ties. And, before I started, I go, look, I'm just going to call it out. Like, I think it's weird. And I'm a 20-something-year-old kid. I go, I think it's weird that you guys are all trying to get out of a job to just come to this and act like it's a job. Just going to say that. Right. And so I made a lot of friends like within my first couple minutes because, all the old brass didn't necessarily like that. But we did the business presentation. I did it how we were growing it out in the field, which was actually training people how to go make money, and it was hindsight hacking before it was hindsight hacking. So what I did was the one phone call I made was to Jan Johnson, which was the same person that told me about sideways marketing. And I said, look, I'm going to ask you like 3 questions all about this networking thing. And you're never allowed to answer it with my downline or someone in my downline did X. Like, I need to know what you did to get the downline. I could care less about your downline, right?
Okay.
So she was like, wow, no one ever asked me that. I go, that's silly because they ask you it all the time. You just use the easy cop out that your downline did it because that's the words, right?
Yeah.
And so it grew and grew and grew. And that company got bought out by a vitamin company. And I did not want to sell vitamins. Like, that was just not my thing. I was like, oh my gosh. So this other company approached myself and my friend Roger and said, hey, why don't you guys come over and help us launch this? It's going to be exactly the same as the old company. And we're like, oh, awesome, let's go. So we went there and we're on these calls. And I told Roger, it was like 2 months into it, I said, have you gotten paid? Like, what was getting paid? And he goes, yeah, there was something with the payroll was messed up. I go, all right, Roger, I'm telling you, we're getting bamboozled. He goes, what do you mean? I go, the next time we're on a business presentation call that's live, I'm going to talk the whole time. I'm going to ask questions the whole time, and no one's ever going to respond to me because it's recorded. And I'm going to tell you when people make noises and laugh, and it will happen right after I say it. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And so my whole team left, and that was devastating, right? So now I had to go back, find a job
from scratch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that kind of took me into the downward spiral of my story from before, which we won't necessarily get into. We're going to skip over a couple of things, but we're going to fast forward to I got married, 3rd child, starting looking for something else, and I told her, I said, what if there was a different way to make money? Right? Yeah. So then the questions of what if came up, and I said, what if there was a way to do this? And so I brought up network marketing to my new wife, and she goes, I don't like those, but I believe in you. And if you say it works, it'll work.
She's a good woman.
Yeah. Oh, she makes me a better person. I will tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And so I jumped in, and before I knew it, I was on stage in San Diego. I was on stage in Cancun, had a big group. We got 8 car qualified people, but you know what? It wasn't filling what I was looking for. That I can do it, and I understand how to do it, and it makes sense. Like, I get the formula. I didn't want to do it. But I liked the outcome. And so I was like, gosh, if I could just develop people, get the same outcome without having to like recruit and sell stuff, like that's what I want to do. So I called Jan Johnson, and she was the one that talked to me about sideways marketing or funnels. And she was like, Ron, you were always the draw. You were always the draw. You just never knew you were the draw. I was like, yeah, because I don't see me as the draw, or the person. Like I never felt that I needed to be that. But what I learned is my team needed me to be that because it helped them grow.
You needed to be the leader.
Yeah. So as we started down this journey of hindsight hacking, we came up with excuse me, we came up with doing podcasts, um, basically through Corey, and he's like, "Hey, let's do this." We joined the Profit Lab, and I remember my second day, I messaged Gina. I said, "I will be a coach on your program," and she goes, "Well, we'll see." I go, "No, no, no. I'm going to be a coach in your program." I go because I I don't want anything from you. I just want to add the value. Like I get it. And I
Mhm.
learn better by teaching, so I need that. Right? And
Right.
and
I
so,
get it. Yeah.
and so, we went through the process, and I'm a perfectionist, and I wasn't happy with anything we did. We just uh it was the holidays when we decided to do it. We picked hindsight because 2020 was coming, and we launched on
Oh, yeah.
January 1st, 2020, and hindsight was 2020. I was like, dude, we got to play on that.
Yeah.
And hacking was big. So that's how we came up with the name hindsight because of the year, and hacking because everyone's hacking something, right?
Well, that answered
Funnel
one of my
hacking,
questions.
design hacking,
Yeah.
and so Corey's like, okay, so I came up with this logo.
The only thing you're missing is the word secrets.
I know. That's coming. That's coming. um, so so then I came up with the logo, put it out there, and everyone hated it in the PBL. Like everyone hated it. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you got to have your faces on there for the draw. I don't want my face on there. So then I had to redesign the logo. Didn't really like the new logo. Um, put our faces on there. I did black and white faces. That's what we launched with. And we launched with a bumper that I really didn't like. Not only was it, family time, it was holidays. My stepfather passed away in the middle,
Oh,
right before we were supposed to launch. So if it wasn't for Corey or the process of the PPL, we wouldn't have launched. But I just announced to like everyone we were launching, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to do it, right? So then, we launch, and we still didn't really know what we were doing or why we were doing it. We knew our question, but we really didn't understand like what the show was about, and I was at the point where I was like, why would someone even want to be on our show? And I remember waking up one morning and I was like, they're going to want to be on our show because it's a cool show, right? And so I approached it from
actually,
that.
it is a cool show.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I approached it from that, and we've gotten people on our show that frankly shouldn't have been on our show, like ever, right? Like Catherine Jones was on our show. She probably shouldn't have been on our show yet, but she was on our show. Alex Elliott was on our show. The cash flow tactics guys were on our show. I mean, people have
Why do
been
you
on,
why do you say they shouldn't have been on your show?
because normally this kind of leads into one of the products because of the gap. So if you're through ClickFunnels, you're taught about this Dream 100,
Yeah.
um, but it's a unicorn. And this is what I tell people: if you want to fail the fastest, follow the Dream 100. If
Hmm.
you want to fail faster, then you will succeed. Follow that, because usually when people start a business is when they need money, or they need to do something because they want out of their job. And I'm not saying that Dream 100 is wrong or something that is broken. I'm just saying it's missing a step, and it's a long game that most people don't have the time to play.
Mhm.
Russell goes into,
Interesting.
it took him 10 years to make, where he is with Anthony Robbins, because he was on his Dream 100. And his Dream 100 was actually 100 per channel. It was like 800 names. Like that's pretty daunting for like the
Hmm.
average person. So we decided to, we were testing this, and that's how we got some people on our show that shouldn't have been on our show, right? Because we have a system to get noticed by people, right? And get noticed in a way that other people wouldn't do or wouldn't take the time to do, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do it. And partner with people that are just above you to help level them up.
So it's a stepping, so you're going incrementally up rather than that big jump that.
Yeah, so you're not hitting that ceiling of the unicorn, right?
Yep, yep.
You're here, and there's some people here, and you're going to level up to them and joint venture with them,
Mhm.
right? Through our Now 22. It's called the Now My Dream 22. That's what it's called.
Oh,
Okay. And we have a framework that teaches you how to level up. And then what happens is your Now 22 framework you can use again to level up again. But these people start leveling up with you. So you build this partnership of people. And then before you know it, you're on someone else's Dream 100.
so it's a perfect symbiotic relationship where
Right.
everybody is benefiting.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
Which is kind of like what we're trying to do is I wasn't just going to say entrepreneurs, but then not everybody is like that.
right.
Some of us have a little bit more altruistic
Yeah.
intent than others
Yeah.
do. But yeah, I love it. It's a very logical and well thought out.
I appreciate it.
But in order to know how to do it, we need to contact you and get involved with your
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, we have a Facebook group where we're just about to launch the offer, which is pretty exciting for us. And it's some master classes, masterminds, and JV partnerships where people will leave the program with a framework, to be successful, and continue to level up with basically everything put together. And then we have what is called a JV Rolodex, where you can look at people and go, this is their niche, this is my niche, let me connect with them. Because the whole idea of what the Now 22 is to simultaneously increase your visibility, traffic, and sales at the same time.
That could be very powerful.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So what's the name of the program that we should be looking for?
It is called Now My Dream 22.
Now My Dream 22. And you're going to give me a link to put in my show notes for that.
I
So
will
my
do
people
so. Yes.
can find you for there.
Absolutely.
Terrific. Now, you did mention that you went to Corey and did all that kind of stuff. How did you guys actually, he was just there. How did you guys meet? How did this kind of partnership come about?
So I hired him to be he was a director of another chain, and I hired him to work for me at a restaurant chain.
Oh, okay. So that's how you got to know his skills.
Correct.
And you could sort of pre-evaluate him a little bit before.
Yes. And likewise, he didn't know
Fun.
me, and I was telling him all this crazy stuff, so it works out.
Well, it's nice to have another crazy person working with
That's
you.
right.
That can kind of kick off and really play. Because you guys do play so well together on
Thanks.
I'm all about constantly learning, and I truly am. It's a disease, I think. And noticing how all of the experiences that provide insights help shape who we are, our perspectives. It's sort of like filling your own personal inspiration treasure chest, where you have it's full of inspiration that as you need something, you've got some place to go to pull it out of you. What inspirations do you get from experiencing the world, or let's maybe better said, how do you pull inspiration from your experiences that helps you propel your businesses, move forward, and also, how do you have fun?
Oh gosh, I have fun at everything. So
do
let's
too.
start with I pull. So I've always taught people what not to do, right? And then I learned by doing that, they don't learn stuff the right way, and then they fail later in life instead of with me. So then I came up with the approach of encouraging people to fail, and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the power. Yeah.
Right. And it's okay. It's a safe place, right? And that unlocked something in them that they already had. I was just able to unlock it faster by giving them that safe place. And I've been
You gave them permission.
Yeah, I've been blessed to mentor many people that I get more out of the relationship than
Mhm.
I feel I give them, but they still like want to talk with me, which is great. But I learned so much from them than I feel I give to them. Um, as for fun, like I have fun with everything. And, I think people look at it as they're like, oh, you don't take it serious. No, I do take it serious, right?
Mhm.
But I just enjoy life, right?
Yeah.
I know what it's like not to enjoy life. And, when my wife and I went on our second date, we talked about, this was her second marriage too. So we knew what we didn't want more than what we wanted. But we were very specific in saying, this is our second date. Here's what our life's going to be. Are you okay with that? Do you want to do that? And we either said yes or no.
So right
And
from the beginning, you knew if she was the one, huh?
oh my gosh. So I will tell you, when I first saw her, this has never happened to me ever. I called my friend and I said, and so I'm going to tell you my wife and I's whole story. So I got a phone call when I was at Starbucks, and this was after my first marriage was done. And I got a phone call from another DM. His name was Lee John. And he said, hey, this girl wants to be a store manager. We think she'd be better to be a shift. We're going to send her to you. Okay. So in your mind, if you got that phone call, would you think that person was already interviewed?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. She wasn't. So
Okay.
her interview was, here's your schedule.
Whoa.
Okay? Because I assumed they interviewed her, right? And so I get she leaves. I call my friend. I was like, oh my gosh, the most beautiful woman on the planet works for me. Okay. Now, 5 years later, we've never gone on a date. I've never told her this. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Right. And she had left to go work at another store, came back. I trained her to be a store manager, and they said, okay, you're going to go mentor her for a week at her new store. I said, whatever. So I'm training her at her new store. And it was the last day that we were going to work together. And she was going to be in a different district. And I felt weird about it. I was like, that doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it bother me? So she was walking behind me, and I just turned around, grabbed her, and kissed her.
Woo!
And she goes,
I
she just looks at me, and I go, well, I'm either going to get fired or we're getting married. And she goes, well, you're not getting fired. I said, awesome. So, we go on a date, and it was our first date. And I said, okay, ready? We're going to talk about anything but work. Go. Right. Because I
Yeah.
want to talk about work. But, we worked together for 5 years. So she knows me. She knows the good me, the bad me. She is my soulmate, and
Mm-hmm.
she makes me an amazing
You were
leader.
friends first. I think that is so
Yeah.
important. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I
And
was married for 43 years and we were best friends. And
yeah.
we loved each other's company and it was yeah, but that kind of foundation is what anything that comes up, you can work it
Yeah.
out together.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is my best friend. Everyone's like, well, what do you do for fun? I go, I hang out with my wife. Like, I enjoy hanging out with my wife. I love her company. I love the life we've built. We joke that we've been to many states, together, living. Then, we've lived in 3 different states together, uh, and that's the only person I can honestly say that with. And likewise. So even though we've been married before, there's a lot of firsts that we have
Hmm.
together, and we celebrate it. I've always had a thing for 1122, the numbers. Always had this thing,
Okay.
and it was bothering me because I would see it everywhere. 1122 together. It bothered me so much. I don't believe in this, but I was like, I got to figure out what it means. So I started researching numerology. I was like,
Uh-huh.
tell me what the heck this means. And I learned 11 and 22. 11 is you're looking for something, and 22 is balance. Okay.
Ah, okay.
So I was like, all right. My wife and I's first date was on November 22nd.
I was about to say, I bet you got married on November
No.
22nd.
It gets better. We got married on 10/22/11, and 10 is completion. So what that
Ah,
date says is I found my balance and I completed it.
So it sounds like we're going to have another talk another time about numerology.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
No, it's great.
that is so special. That is so special.
I
And
love
that,
Elizabeth. She's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I know that you are passionate about helping other people. I mean, you can hear it. Everything you say is all about helping other people. But you also mentioned to me about helping other people develop personal skills. Can you
Yes.
give us a little insight on that?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question. Holy smokes! Because I think,
Well, if you
you
don't
know,
want it, I can give you another one,
no,
but I
no,
like
no, no,
hard
no.
questions.
I have an idea. There's more harder questions, so I'll take this one. No,
You know
you,
me already, and we just hardly met.
so if you think, when you're developing somebody, like you got to understand who they are and what they're good at and what they're bad at, and I truly have people lean on what they're good at, and then like let's just say if they're a manager of something.
Mhm,
um I've always never hid anything from my team. I'm a team builder. I love building teams.
mhm.
It's something that makes me a happy person. But I learned that I have to surround myself with people that can do things I can't do and be okay with that. So
That's
I
hard.
yeah, it is hard.
It really is hard.
Yeah, so I try to teach people, hey, understand your strengths, play to your strengths, but really know your weaknesses and understand how to cover them until you learn how to overcome them. Right?
Very good advice. Yeah.
So I've had this one gentleman. He is the most amazing man I think I've ever met. He
Mm.
is, very godly, very faith built person. He's the reigning Kentucky strongman. Like the guy is ripped, but he's the nicest person on the planet. So like most ripped people that are huge and he's like ripped, are jerks, and that's just not Anthony. Anthony's amazing, and we work together. um, this is a funny story. When I moved to Kentucky, I wanted to go see the Starbucks that I was taking over, and my wife and we went to go shop the store before we took it over, and Anthony was working, and I told my wife, I go, just don't say your name because cool, like
Mhm.
everyone's gonna know like who I am then, and I'm trying to be incognito, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
we're up there, and Anthony's taking her order, and Rachel paid with a credit card, and it said Rachel, cool. So I see him take her credit card and look at me and go, "Hi, Ron." I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?" Like that just happened, and we became really good friends, and I've watched him develop from a shift manager to almost a district manager. He went to Amazon, and then he did something that was phenomenal. He started his own online coaching for other people for health and wellness, and now he's doing that full time. And I guarantee you he's always had that in him, but the Anthony that I first met, I don't think would have the confidence to do that.
Didn't see his
You know?
ability. Yeah.
Yeah. But we worked together for 5 or 6 years, stayed in contact, and just we connected a lot. And I was blessed to be on his journey. However, I
And he was
impacted
he
that.
was very blessed to have you on his. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot from our relationship, and he's another person that's made me a better person. So I think if you coach people the right way and you help people develop the right way, and you're doing it for the right reasons,
Hmm.
it's a win-win situation, right? It's not it can't be it goes back to that network marketing story I shared. If you do something for money,
Hmm.
I mean that people smell that. Like you can't act that out.
Yeah. Most of the people that are really successful, if you really look at them, they didn't, well, they do it for money, but they're not doing it because of that. They would have still done it
Yeah, it's
because
not
they
that they
had
did
that.
it, right?
It was a part of them.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
something that was important and made a difference. Yeah.
exactly. So that's where you kind of look at everything, and that's how it's got to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you've helped so many people. I'm going to ask a favor. Would you
Sure.
give my listeners a little tip that they can leave with that will help them with either goal setting, future planning, or habit stacking? And I can assure you, whichever one you pick, I'll twist your arm to come back to talk about the other ones next time.
Wow. Okay, one more time. Because the only one that's stuck is habit stacking, which is, I have a story, but what's the other ones?
Oh, let's see. What did I wrote down some things that we had talked about in the past. I just wanted to catch it. Goal setting, future planning, and habit stacking.
All right. Gosh, these are all so good. Let's see. I'm kind of into habit stacking right now. But let's do future planning. Because
now that is a tease. You're so good at this, aren't you? So you can come back and do the habit stacking later.
I'd be more than happy to come back and we can talk about it all you want. I enjoy talking about it. It's been good. All right, so future planning. So I've always been told I was that dreamer or that person that just kind of looked in the future, but I used it as a defense. And let me explain how I did. So anytime anything bad was happening to me or I was going through something bad, I never took it serious at all because I felt and envisioned myself on my porch rocking, telling my grandkids how I got through it. Okay. And I will tell you that sounds awesome because, you can get through it. The problem is you don't learn why you're going through it and how you got there. So then I found myself repeating the same thing, just in a different environment, right? So did you find yourself in a position where you had a bad job, bad boss, whatever, then you moved to another company and ta-da, that boss is a bad boss too, right? Maybe if you would have learned why that first boss was a bad boss, your next boss wouldn't be a bad boss. And you have to really look at yourself to make some choices and make a different decision, right? So if I could look back and do things differently, I would understand why I was going through what I was going through to plan the future a little bit differently. And what I mean by that is going into that next job, have set of rules of engagement of everything you do. So the next job is, okay, if I failed at this and this and this, why did I fail at this? Instead of just blazing through it because I'm now 75 years old rocking on a rocking chair, really understand it. And then taking the learnings so you can future plan appropriately and not keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again that so many people do until they either just give up or they settle. And I've never been told I would give up on anything, and I hate settling. So there you go.
I relate to that so well. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ron, it's been a pleasure today having you here.
I've enjoyed it.
And I hope you're going to come back and visit with me again so we can talk about so many more things that just keep popping in my head.
Anytime.
Okay, good. And I also want my listeners to be inspired by the Hindsight Hacking King.
Oh, thanks.
I like the way it sounds like that instead of
thank you. I'm going to use that. I'm going to have to tell Corey I was anointed. He's just the opener now.
We just have to get the sword out to
there you go.
Get you on your shoulder.
Perfect.
Okay, please tell my listeners how they may reach out to you and learn more about your programs, your coaching programs, because that might be just what they need for their entrepreneurial endeavors. And I'll be sure to take all your links and make sure they're in the show notes.
No, I appreciate it. And you can go to www.follow.cool. And that gives you links to everywhere that you can follow wherever I'm doing or wherever I'm at. And I'm on Facebook. So just hit me up, or we have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Hindsight Hacking.
And what's that new program called again that you're
the new program is Now My Dream 22, where we help you, the digital entrepreneur, simultaneously increase your visibility, traffic, and sales through level up joint venture partnerships.
Ooh, sign me up.
Come on board.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this show. It's been great to have you here. And if you liked what you heard, please hit the subscribe button now, like, share, and leave a rave review below. It would be most appreciated. And don't forget to join us next week. I can't wait to introduce you to my next guest. While you're at it, head over to Facebook and join the Escaping Ordinary group. You'll find the link in the episode notes. Once you're there, you'll be able to interact with me and like-minded entrepreneurs also looking to escape ordinary. Oh, and when you join the group, you'll get a special gift designed especially for those escaping their ordinary. In the meantime, be looking for those precious gems of inspiration all around you when you're traveling the world or just going around the corner, and start filling your treasure chest of insights.